Chris Scouser here with
Matt Howell.
And in this episode of The First Run, Matt and I are going to discuss, I don't know, what do you think? Let's go with Jason Bourne, Lights Out, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, and then we're going to do What Are the Odds? So there's a lot to get into this week, and this is First Run After Dark. Recording this approaching 10 o'clock p.m. here on the East Coast because Matt is going on vacation. So enjoy that, sir.
Thanks.
So let's barrel through. Here's a clip from Jason Bourne.
I know who I am.
When we have finished with you, you'll no longer be yourself.
I remember everything.
Remembering everything doesn't mean you know everything.
Tell me.
We've just been hacked. Could be worse than Snowden.
Facial recognition got a hit.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Why would it come back now?
He knows things. What if he's not coming for us? What if it's something else?
I volunteered because of a lie.
Matt, Jason Bourne is back. We had a little detour a few years ago where Jeremy Renner, who was part of the Jason Bourne program, who had his own little adventure. But, you know, Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass were sitting in a bar and they got loaded and they said, you know what, why don't we do one more Bourne film? And they're back. Now, I got to tell you, Matt, the first Jason Bourne film done by Doug Liman of Swingers fame and Mr. and Miss Smith, among some other films, was good. It was solid. And in a way, too, it almost redefined, I don't want to say redefine the action genre, but it did influence a lot of films after that. Because you remember when they relaunched James Bond with Daniel Craig, they were saying it's basically the Jason Bourne-ification of James Bond.
Right.
Just a leaner, meaner action film. And Greengrass comes in and revitalizes the whole franchise, I think. I think really elevates the other two films, Supremacy and Ultimatum, blowing out the first film. And I was very excited when they decided to come back because they said, Matt, basically they wanted to do, you know, they felt they had another story to tell, but they didn't want to come back unless it was something really interesting that was worth the audience's time. So this time, Julia Stiles reappears again as Nikki Parsons, and she uncovers a bunch of information about some illegal black ops organization, finds out now that Jason Bourne's father has a role in this whole story that we weren't really aware of before. And so she tries to tell Bourne that, and then to get the information out to the public about all these secret programs that the CIA is working on. In the meantime, we have the CIA director played by Tommy Lee Jones, who's the tough, grizzled old veteran who's really all he wants to do right now is silence this whole thing and not let it get out. And then we have a new lead played by Alicia Vikander from Ex Machina, a very talented actress. And she is a up-and-coming CIA analyst, the head of the cyber division or something to that effect, right, Matt? And she has some designs on her own career as well and what she's willing to do to take down Bourne. So, Matt, there's a lot going on here, but I want to get back to the core. Do you think that Paul Greengrass and Matt Damon really did have another story to tell here? Are you happy that we're back for another sequel?
You know what? I think it might be a bit of a stretch to say that they had another story to tell. I mean, it's obviously a very ripped from the headlines type of story. You know, kind of parallels to Snowden and all that kind of stuff in the cyber world we live in now. But, you know, honestly, it doesn't really bring a whole lot new to what's already been done to the franchise. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's fun to watch, but it's not breaking any new ground. It's stuff that we've seen before.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. The way I described it is, now, for the folks at home, one of my favorite groups growing up was Foreigner. Right now, there's a zombie version of this group touring the country right now. Lou Gramm, the original lead singer, has moved on quite a few years ago. Mick Jones, the other founding member, the two of them wrote all the songs. Mick Jones is older and he's had some illnesses, so he barely even shows up for some of the tours now. So it's basically an official tribute band.
Right. Kind of like Journey.
But back in the day, I got to see them with Lou Gramm, but it was at the tail end of their career, right? So all they were doing basically is coming out and playing all the greatest hits and then calling it a night. And that's the exact feeling I had with this film.
Right.
There's nothing new. There's no real life to it. There's nothing. We haven't broken any new ground. It's just Greengrass and Damon are here. They're playing the hits, and they're and then we're walking off stage. That's really all it was for me. It's exactly what I got out of this. It's basically the Foreigner of action films, modern day Foreigner. There's really
That's a loaded statement for probably most of our audience.
So for me, there was really no heft to this film whatsoever. And the action scenes as well really kind of felt forced to me. They didn't feel, and this may sound weird, I'm trying to think of a better way to describe it. They just didn't feel organic. It was more like, we have these set pieces. Oh, we're going to shoot in Vegas. So how do we get to Vegas? Everything felt kind of contrived around the action scenes. There was never any passion for me in this thing. There's no real stakes. Everything felt very rote. I don't know. I got to tell you, I don't know how I feel about the introduction or revelation of Jason Bourne's dad and his introduction, his role, and how Jason Bourne was brought into the program, or of lack thereof. It wasn't as frustrating for me as the Blofeld as Bond's adoptive brother Spectre thing that I remember saying when my first rumors first started coming out that I was going to walk out of the theater if that's what they ended up making it.
And did you walk out? Did you stick to your guns?
No, I did not. I argued to myself, well, he's not actually his real brother.
Oh, okay, semantics.
There you go. But I got to tell you, unfortunately for me, there was nothing in here that made me feel like I needed to see it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, this is, just like you said, this is, let's get the band back together. Let's show you everything that you've seen before that you said that you wanted. Here are you not entertained? Drop the mic, I'm out. I'm not coming back. So, yeah, I mean, is it better than, what was even the one that Renner was in? What was it even called?
Legacy.
Bourne Legacy. I mean, yeah, it's probably, it's more entertaining than Bourne Legacy, but it doesn't hold up.
Is it though? Are you sure? Because I haven't watched that.
I'm not really thinking to. I kind of have blocked. I can't really remember anything about the Bourne Legacy, so I can't even be 100% sure that that's true.
Yeah, see, I saw that in the theater too. Now, that's the thing too. I feel like it's relatively forgettable, which is too bad considering the other two Greengrass, Damon, Bourne films. I think are just really top shelf action entertainment. Yeah. What do you think about Alicia Vikander as Heather Lee?
Yeah, I thought she was good. You know, I enjoy her. I'm glad that she's getting bigger roles. I think she's going to be up and comer. But I mean, again, you know, the kind of everything around it didn't really save the material for me.
Yeah, exactly. I did kind of like the twist and turn that her character took. I think her character's arc was probably for me the most interesting. But that's faint praise considering the rest of what was going on here. Vincent Cassel, who plays the anti-Bourne, right? Yeah. He's the asset. He was in one of the other Bourne films too, right? They didn't just make that up. I think he was in the first or second one. Anyway, he's another part. He's a member of the program who Bourne basically burned, and he's got his own little revenge plans as well. So. Yeah, it's unfortunately I was disappointed. I really was. If I had to give it a grade, I'm giving it a C, and that's gentleman C because of my affection for the other two Greengrass films. Right. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think I would give it a C as well. I mean, it's not anything special. I mean, obviously, it's just kind of a forgettable summer action movie. I'd be interested to see if they can even salvage this. I mean, do you think this is going to be the last Bourne try after two mediocre outings?
I don't know. They may do another Renner film or maybe relaunch it again in 5 years.
Right.
But I think this. If this is what we have to expect going forward, I think we can just call it. I think it's over.
Right.
I don't think Damon and Greengrass are going to do another one at this point either. The reviews were not terribly good. It did reasonably well at the box office, but I don't know. I just don't think the desire's out there anymore.
Yeah, I think it's all been seen. Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that you've all seen before. So I mean, it's not breaking any new ground. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of spy action films out there from the Bonds, and you've got the new Kingsman. We'll see how far that progresses, but they're making a sequel of that. So I don't know. There's only so many of those things I think the public can handle.
We'll see. Shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you need to see us in the theater? No. If you're a Bourne fan, maybe. Even then, I'm pushing it. You may want to wait for this to hit Blu-ray or your digital outlet. I think is your best bet. Your red boxes, your red tubes, whatever it is the kids are watching. Matt, let's take a quick break and let's hear a clip from our next film, our next big release, Lights Out.
Every time I turn off the lights, there's this woman waiting in the shadows.
I see her too.
Each one of us is being haunted by this thing.
Mom?
Hey, Martin, what's up? Did we wake you?
What?
All right, Matt. So why don't you fill in our listeners on what is the plot of Lights Out?
That's a good question. So this is actually based on a very short horror film, I guess, little 1-minute horror short, which I thought was pretty good when I watched it. I mean, it's a creepy little film, but this is basically where this supernatural entity that only can exist in the dark, hides in the shadows, is stalking this family, and basically, I don't think I'm giving anything away, attacks the husband in the beginning, and then kind of moves on down the line of the people in the rest of the family. And that's basically what it's about. I mean, obviously, I don't want to give too much away, because if at that point you're giving away plot points, so which have probably already been given away by the trailers now that I think about it. But that's basically the film in a nutshell. It's just kind of your typical horror jump scare film. Yeah,
it reminded me of was it Paranormal Activity. I think it's 3, with the when they introduced the camera on the oscillating fan.
I have not actually seen that one. You've talked about that scene many, many times, but I have not seen that.
This is basically like that scene expanded out to 82 minutes. And for me, that's great, because I've said many times, that introduction of the oscillating fan camera was brilliant. And it really ramps up the tension. And that's what we're dealing with here, because the ghost, or whatever this apparition, demon, monster thing is, it only appears in the dark, right? So when you flick the lights, then it's gone. And the lights go off, and it's there. And you just stay in the light, Matt. Just stay in the light. But as we say, it's a tight 81. We should say that it's a tight 81. It worked for me. I think I thought it was good. I thought it was an exceptionally well done little horror film. It's jump scares, which we tend to bemoan, but it's very well done jump scares. There's no cats jumping out of closets. It's not that kind of cheap stuff. So, but I don't know. It scared the heck out of me. I'm going to tell you, Matt. It really made me uneasy throughout. The film's mythology, I think, is a little weak. I don't know how well it holds up if you even think about it for a moment. There's a lot of twists, not twists, but a lot of the plot elements don't make, like, first off, I don't know what's her power, that she can control people's minds or influence them. And then I don't remember. That's how she gets into Maria Bella's head as a kid and makes her like her and pretend she's her friend. Right. And then the weird thing that just being exposed to flashing lights disintegrates her to some other dimension. I don't know. It doesn't really. Whatever. I think one of the things, though, some of the successes for me, probably chiefly, is Maria Bella. She is the mother of our star, Teresa Palmer, and she's a woman who's struggling with mental illness, who has a friend, Diana, who is our malevolent spirit. She's our bad guy. Yeah. And in the relationship between Diana and Maria Bella's character as well, what's her character's name? Sophie. It's I think it plays off of that mental illness symbiosis type thing really well. So I thought Bello brought a lot to that role that may not have really been there. But for me, one of the things that really just stood out to me as a failure, but in a weird way, a horrible, horrible success, is Alexander Depergia as Brett, her Teresa Palmer's boyfriend. He does the typical horror film thing where his reactions and stuff make no logical sense in the real world. People don't talk like that. They don't interact. Like if you do or say something with your family or something, he attacks her about how she treats her mom at one point, or he does a lot of things that, as a boyfriend to a disturbingly attractive Teresa Palmer, things you would not do. All right, so I don't know what it is. It's just he really rubbed me the wrong way. But then it kind of felt, well, that's your typical horror, bad B horror movie trope. You have the one character who makes a lot of bad decisions and it doesn't act logically.
Hey man, you gotta bring those narrative emotional stakes in there somewhere. God damn it, who cares how to get in there?
Yeah,
who cares if it makes any logical sense?
As I said, the script isn't really terribly strong, Matt, but I got to tell you, you're dreading the sundown every time. So I don't know. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was the jump scares were good. I think the creature effects were appropriately creepy. They definitely built up the tension every time they walk by a shadow or any of this kind of stuff. And of course, they figure out really. I mean, again, to your B movie horror tropes, nobody making any sense. Like they're exploring this big dark house in the middle of the day, but like, why aren't you throwing open all the shades and turning on every light in the house if you know that there's a creature in there that can't survive in the light? Let's just go in this darkened room by ourselves.
And she apparently has the ability to induce darkness every now and then.
Yeah, just randomly when it fits the narrative.
Cause lights to go out. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
But only when
only when it's convenient. But yeah, I think it has it definitely has something to say, or at least it's trying to say something about a kind of a metaphor for mental illness, as you alluded to. I don't know if the way it's resolved is the right way to treat that, but but again, I mean, if you don't think about it too hard,
that's a fair point.
Yeah, I don't think it's it's still a fun horror movie. It's scary. It's got a lot of tension. It's got the blonde Kristen Stewart and Teresa Palmer, who looks exactly like Kristen Stewart. I thought it was, when I saw her in Take Me Home Tonight, when I saw the first preview of that film, which we reviewed a long time ago for the show, look it up. I literally thought that was Kristen Stewart had dyed her hair blonde, but it's not. But yeah, I mean, the child is terrible. The boyfriend is predictably terrible. Teresa Palmer is, her character is, fine. She's fine. Maria Bello's great in it. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun little film. I mean, as far as if you want to watch a scary movie, you don't have a whole lot of options. There's a dearth of options out there, and this is a good little summer scare.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I enjoyed it, and there's not a lot of horror films out there right now, and it's strong. It's definitely, like you said, it delivers the spooks. So I did enjoy it. I had I think I'm trying to think what the audience reaction was. There were quite a few jumps and squeals and yells. So I think that's a good overall thing to experience, because horror films and comedies are like that, right? A lot of it depends on the audience you're with.
Right.
So I had a good audience with mine. So yeah. All right. So what would you give Lights Out? I would give it. I think I'd give it a. Because of some of those things that really bothered me, specifically the boyfriend. But that's where I'm sitting. What about you?
Yeah, I'd give it a B-. I mean, it's a decent little film, but I mean, it's not like it's going to go into the pantheon or the rotation. It'll probably be one of those things that every time I go to Walmart or Best Buy, I'll be like, should I pick that up? And it'll just keep dropping and dropping in price until at some point I'll be like, yeah, I don't need that, even if it's like $5. So
I think that's a very good description. They have greenlit a sequel though, because it cost them $5 million to make it, and it's made about 90. So
nice. Well, I mean, horror films are profitable. They are profitable at the very least. And if you haven't checked out the original short, it's a creepy little short. You should check it out. It's pretty good.
I have not. So
all over YouTube. You can find it easily.
I will check that out. And I'm wondering if former co-host Chris Esposito has seen it as well, because he is, how do I put it politely or delicately? He is a fan of Teresa Palmer.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So we'll have to check in with him at some point and see if he's seen Lights Out. If you have, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this actually past Tuesday, Tom Hanks is a film that did not do well, A Hologram for the King, where he plays a failed American businessman looking to recoup his losses. So he travels to Saudi Arabia to try selling his idea to a wealthy monarch. Didn't catch on with the folks, so now's your chance to pick it up. Baskin, a squad of unsuspecting cops go through a trapdoor to hell when they stumble upon a black mass in an abandoned building. I feel like we talked about this or heard about it a while back.
It's not ringing any bells.
I might be making that up. But that's coming out as well. The first season of Supergirl with all 21-hour episodes. Why do they write that? Well, they think maybe they just randomly include 15 of the episodes. A gag reel, deleted scenes, and behind-the-scenes featurettes. I heard finally that Calista Flockhart will be joining the show on CW. I was concerned that she might not, and she's personally, I think she's one of the best things about that show. So we'll have to see. She's going to be billed, though, as a special guest star, so I don't know if she'll be in every episode, or I'm not sure how that's going to work. But Supergirl is joining the CW, if you have not heard. What else? Hulu's 11/22/63 is being released as well. Matt, what's that about? Have you got a chance to see any of that?
Yeah, I haven't watched it. It's on my list of things to do. It's based on a Stephen King story or novel that actually came out a few years ago that was pretty well received. It's basically about there's I think it's like either a phone booth or a closet, or basically in the back of this restaurant. And if you go into it, it takes you to Dallas 11/22/63, and every time you go through it, the same thing. You end up in the same spot in the same place. And James Franco plays a character who's going to try and stop the Kennedy assassination.
Interesting. Is there a second season? Are you halfway through it, or where are you?
I have not started it. I want to watch it. I just haven't started it yet. But I think it's basically it's all there is. It's the whole story, the whole novel. It's
just going to be one. Okay, I wonder if I'm just curious if it's going to be like one of those that's going to continue on, or if it's like a one season, one shot deal. So,
yeah, I think it's a one season, one shot deal.
Okay. McCabe and Miss Miller is being released by Criterion. The unorthodox dream western by Robert Altman, starring Warren Beatty and Julie Christie, is being released. Includes all new 4K digital restoration. Commentary from 2002 featuring Robert Altman. A new documentary on the making of the film, and a bunch of other stuff. Scream Factory is giving us Basket Case 2 and 3. Matt, have you ever seen the Basket Case films?
I have not seen the Basket Case movies, but although I very vividly remember the VHS cover in my local video store.
I have the first one. I have only seen the first one, and I have it on DVD. That was one of the ones when on USA's Saturday Nightmares. And that's where I first saw the first Basket Case, and it freaked me out. I haven't seen it since. I bought it on DVD probably 10 years ago, if not 15 years ago, and I've never watched it. Maybe it's time to check back in with, what's his name, Belial, I think his name, with a creepy little...
Yeah, I think it's Belial.
Yeah, so Basket Case 2 and 3 from Scream Factory with some brand new special features on both of them. Actually, no, it looks like Basket Case 3 just has a trailer and a reversible cover. Oh, boy. But new transfers for both. Straight to DVD, Matt, remember we talked about this before, how there are a ton of sniper movies? You know, the sniper series? Well, there is yet another one. I can't understand it. So anyway, I had to make it our straight to DVD pick of the week because they just keep rolling along. Just props to the sniper series, because I haven't seen any one of these, and there's now 5 of them. This time it's Sniper Ghost Shooter. Elite snipers Brandon Beckett and Richard Miller are fighting extremists in the Middle East when Colonel Dennis Haysbert, that's the guy who plays him, he's just known as Colonel, gives them a new mission to protect the gas pipeline stretching from the Republic of Georgia to Western Europe from extremists eager to make a political statement. When skirmishes with the enemy lead to U.S. snipers being killed by a ghost shooter who locks into their exact location, a security breach is suspected. Fingers are pointed and battle lines are drawn, all leading up to an explosive climax. So that's one. That's the big release. And the other one, this is my favorite part about it. So that's one write-up. And here's the second write-up, depending on which one you want to use, Matt. Sergeant Bernard Becker is given another mission.
I think we want to go with the second one. I think it tells us everything we need to know.
And I guess Billy Zane has taken over as our main guy, because I don't know if our boy Tom Berenger is in sniper ghost shooter. I'm sorry, the sniper ghost shooter is the 6th film in the series, not the 5th. The 6th.
Wow. You owe an apology to the sniper series.
So,
man, Billy Zane, whatever happened to that guy? He's in the sniper series.
He's in Sniper Ghost Shooter.
You know what I liked? Demon Knight. I thought that was an underrated. Film. Speak apropos of nothing.
Mm-hmm. I liked Billy Zane in. Actually, you know what it is? I started watching The Phantom again on Netflix.
Oh wow!
And,
why?
That's what I was asking myself. I remember liking it when I was younger, thinking it was okay. And after 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm not dedicating an hour and a half of my life to this film, and I turned it off.
It's a good decision.
I can't remember the last time I did that. Yeah. So, all right, Matt. Do you have anything that's streaming you want to talk about?
So I just caught this morning a very short little film, little 16-minute short from Don Hertzfeldt called The World of Tomorrow. We talked about one of his films, It's Such a Beautiful Day, which I think we both enjoyed quite a bit.
Yes.
It still has this kind of twisted sense of humor with his pathos, and it's a cool little short. It's about a girl who's playing with a futuristic video phone and then starts talking to a clone of herself from 300 years in the future. And it's pretty powerful and funny little film. It's good. Just check it out.
I'll have to. Yeah. Thank you very much. I will check that out because I did like the other one. So I haven't really been checking out anything else. I still have to watch the last 2 episodes of, or maybe just the last one now of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was so happy it showed up on there because my DVR deleted the final 4 episodes. I never got around to watching them. So now I'll be able to check those out. But all right, good. Let's move on, shall we?
Let's.
I feel like we're running out of gas here, so let's bring it, Matt. Let's bring it for the next segment, which is going to be Star Trek V, the final.
We've been waiting for weeks. We wanted to talk about this for weeks, Chris.
Sure. Well, I think that's just because we knew it was coming up.
No, I think you
planned
wanted
it out in advance.
I think you wanted to mount a valiant defense based off of our article of Den of Geek. So, Chris. I'd love to hear your comments.
Let's hear first off. Let's hear a clip from possibly the funniest Star Trek film, maybe.
Unintentionally, yeah.
Here, listen. You listen and tell us. We'll be right back.
You are the first to find me.
We sought only your infinite wisdom.
And how did you breach the barrier?
With a starship.
This starship, could it carry my wisdom beyond the barrier?
It could, yes.
Then I shall make use of this starship.
It will be your chariot.
Excuse me.
It will carry my power to every corner of creation.
Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with a starship?
Bring the ship closer.
I said, what does God need with a starship? Jim, what are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
Who is this creature?
Who am I? Don't you know? Aren't you God?
He has his doubts.
You doubt me?
I seek proof.
Jim, you don't ask the Almighty for his ID.
Then here is the proof you see.
Matt, I remember laughing hysterically when Scotty says, I know this ship like the back of my hand. Then he walks into that beam or bar or whatever it is and knocks himself out.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I don't know how well that gag holds up this time, but now that I'm older. So Star Trek V. It's a couple interesting notes, Matt. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but when William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy had a equal, favored nation type clause thing. So whatever one got, the other got. Mm-hmm. And Nimoy got to direct 2 films, so Shatner get to direct this one, and he was also had to come up with the story and to write it and all that stuff because of Star Trek 3 and 4. So Shatner's idea was to come into his whole thing basically is a treatise on evangelicalism. So I think specifically Jerry Falwell is who he was after. He was not a fan. So his whole thing was they were gonna get the Star Trek or the crew, the Enterprise was gonna get kidnapped, captured, or what do you call it, commandeered by a religious zealot. on a mission to see God, but originally it was God. It was actually like it was supposed to be the Christian God, but then to be revealed to be Satan, and Kirk, Spock, and McCoy have to escape hell, like the actual Christian Satan. And Paramount flipped its S, and they're like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. And then also they cut him off at his knees. They drastically cut the budget. Plus, you have ILM, who said they would do the special effects, and then they sent them some outrageous amount, and so Shatner's like, well, we can't use them. They're just too expensive. Mm-hmm. So they're looking at some other places, and one of the first places he went to, they did something where they had a tank full of gas, and they dropped some light or something in it, and they made this weird, cool effect. Because all right, you're hired. Right. But I guess he asked for proof of concept, though, of stuff as well. So, stuff just didn't listen. Here's the problem. And also, too, Star Trek V, there was a writer's strike at the same time. So this thing was screwed from the get-go. You know, originally, too, they wanted Sean Connery to play Sybok. How interesting would that have been?
That would have been weird. That would have been Zardon.
Let's give you the plot. So the Enterprise is still being refitted, all right? Because at the end of episode 4, they save the world. They come back, and they're wondering what ship they're going to get. Because remember, they're in the Klingon bird of prey, and they find the NCC 1701A. We open in Star Trek V, where they're still working on getting the Enterprise up to snuff for travel. But what happens is there's some ambassadors are captured on Nimbus 3, which is the planet of intergalactic peace, or whatever the hell it's called.
Right.
And the Enterprise, once again, is the only ship in the quadrant, or they need Jim Kirk. They want Kirk to field this mission. Because you got Romulans and Klingons also who are trying to lay claim to this place. See, here's the whole Israel-Palestine thing too, right? I guess from what I understand originally, Shatner envisioned it as the Federation is the U.S., Klingons are Russia, and the Romulans are China.
Okay.
All laying claim to the same land.
Okay.
So as a show of force, they wanted to send Jim Kirk to assert the Federation's, throw the Federation's weight around. And who are you going to send but the most badass captain in the history of Starfleet?
Right.
So they go to this planet to rescue the ambassadors who they find out have actually turned to join our kidnapper, who is revealed to be just some religious zealot. And I guess originally, Matt, he was supposed to be like whacked out, like crazy fundamentalist, and not as charming as he is in this film. He's also revealed later on to be Star Trek's half-brother.
Star Trek's half-brother? You mean Spock's
I'm sorry,
half-brother.
Spock's half-brother, sorry. He's a sole brother of the entire Star Trek universe.
It's only half-brother.
It's right, half-brother. And so there's issues about loyalties. Anyway, they come to the ship. They go to the outer rim. They break through the barrier. They find the planet. They think they find God, but actually it's God. It's not actually God. It's an alien who wants to use the starship to do something. I don't know what the hell it is, but he wants to do something. And Kirk has one of the greatest lines in the history of the Star Trek universe, which I do believe. I still think it is. The film may not be that good, Matt, but him saying, "What does God need with a starship?" is one of the most memorable lines in the entire series. You have to give me that.
Sure. It didn't. I've seen all of these movies, and I didn't remember that line. I'll probably remember it more for Shatner's delivery of it than the actual line itself. Excuse me. Excuse me, disembodied head.
So, Matt, let me just ask you: total failure, or is it an overlooked little gem in the Star Trek universe? Is it unfairly maligned? We'll say that
it's not unfairly maligned. That's for sure. It is not unfairly maligned. It is very, very fairly maligned. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a mess. The script is really lacking. The dialogue is just not good. It's actually kind of painful to watch in a lot of places, even more so than I think in the kind of super serious, stern motion picture Star Trek 1 stuff that we saw, which we didn't like. But this is kind of really dripping with just cheese. I mean, it's just not good, Chris. I'm sorry. It's just not. The dialogue is so bad. and of course, you know, the one thing, I mean, so I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I would even say, I dare say maybe even bigger than you, because I've seen all of the other ones, whereas you kind of stopped at the original series and the original crew and haven't really watched a lot of the other shows or whatever.
I've seen all the movies, but I haven't seen all the other shows now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can accept a lot. I can accept a lot of technobabble on Faith, but literally this film, like, I'm like, okay, why is the Enterprise, again, why is this thing still not working right? I mean, this thing hasn't been working right since the first movie. There's nobody on the ship. I mean, and then, like, and the thing that broke it for me is like, okay, so Earth is out on the spiral arm. How in the hell are they going to get to the galactic center? It would take them, literally, it would take them going even as fast as they could possibly go, like hundreds of years to get to the galactic center, and they're there in like 2 hours. Like, what the hell?
Well, what is, I don't know what the equation of warp speed in relation to the speed of light.
Well, it's supposed to be a factor of, so if you're going warp 5, you're going 5 times the speed of light, essentially.
So if they're at warp 7 or 8, it's still too far, huh?
It's still way too far. It's still way too far.
All right.
Way too far.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, you know, and it has its moments of levity, and it really tries. It's just, I think honestly, I think Shatner wasn't up to the task of taking on all of that on his own, and it really shows. I mean, even just like the stuff like the camp out, like that just goes on for so long, and they just keep coming back to this stuff. I don't know. The interpersonal relations with the crew, it's just not firing on all cylinders. It's just a mess of a film.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think the humor is a little forced at times. It just doesn't really work. It's not as clean. It doesn't pop as much as it does in The Voyage Home.
Yeah.
The special effects look really clean, but very fake. Almost like Godzilla level fake when it comes to the models and everything, which is an issue. What else? One thing I did enjoy, I think, though, was Lawrence Luckinbill as Sybok.
Okay.
You got to give me that. No, you don't think? I thought he did a great job.
I thought he did a good performance. I mean, he definitely sold it as, you know, he's this religious extremist. I thought it was kind of cool how you kind of got, you know, the background of what a Vulcan who didn't adhere to logic was like. So I liked kind of that glimpse into the mythology of it. And I thought you're right. I thought he was very good with, you know, he's seductive in his, you know, his message, and he's easy to get people on. Although I didn't quite feel like they explained well enough what his power was, as far as like where this was all coming from, where he could just show people there's this moment from their past and get them to sway them to his side.
I think it's just all kind
stuff.
of. I think it's all similar with the mind meld. It's a form of telepathy, and I think that's what he does. So I think it's all in that realm. So I didn't have that issue. Yeah. So I don't think too. I feel like the seed of a really fascinating story is here. It's just that I don't think Shatner had the ability to get his hands around it.
Right.
You know, I just don't. I think, like you said, I think it's a bit much for him. And then you throw in all these problems with the slashed budget and the writer's strike. That he just cut off at the knees from the beginning, and he didn't. I don't know if he had the ability to pull it off anyway. So he had a lot going against him, unfortunately. Great score by Jerry Goldsmith, I think, who brought back from doing the first film.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that, at least that part of it. And for me, in a lot of ways, it felt like out of all the Star Trek films, this one felt the closest to an episode of the show to me.
Yeah, I can see that. But I don't know if that's good on a film scale.
Fair enough. I think that's a fair point. So, yeah. What else? I think this one had more physical action than any other films did as well. I don't know if you saw that, noticed that. I feel like there was more fight scenes.
Yeah, there was that battle scene in the city and stuff like that. Yeah, you're right. There probably is. Very lacking in the space battles. You know, the space stuff. And like you said, even the ship models they're like straight out of like RoboCop, whereas I can forgive the fakeness of RoboCop. This just was glaring in how cheap it looked.
Yeah, it's like a Rydell model. So, yeah. Now, another thing, too, is Cybok's plan falls entirely apart if the Enterprise transporter works. You know, I think there's another victim of the fact that there was a writer's strike. There's a lot of things in here that could have been fixed with a couple, you know, just updates that just they didn't do. So, yeah, I don't know. And even though I say there's more action, somehow it was less exciting. There's more action, but it's not exciting. So I think that's not a good thing. Matt, a couple interesting things too. Big year. Batman, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade also came out that year. So it did have some steep competition. And Ghostbusters too, though not a great film. It did well at the box office. Yeah, this is the film, Matt, that almost killed the franchise.
Almost. Luckily, 6 came along to kind of end it on a graceful note.
Thank goodness. I'm excited to check that one out again next week. Matt was referring earlier to an article at the Den of Geek where a guy makes a very impassioned speech about how Star Trek V is a fascinating allegory of religious zealotism. Is that a word? Did I make that up?
Zealotry. Zealotry is, I think, what you're looking for.
Thank you very much. And how it runs parallels to the Middle East conflict and the Cold War with Russia, specifically in Pakistan, or is it Afghanistan? Excuse me, Afghanistan. So, yeah, I don't know. At times it felt like a bit of a stretch, but it's an interesting article nonetheless. So you should check it out. Just do a search for Star Trek V and Den of Geek and check it out. It was just an interesting read. All right, Matt. So, yeah, I just kind of felt bad. I'm like,
because your boy,
it's like
your boy did it. That's why.
It is. Kind of like it's one of those things where it's one of your friends and he struck out looking with the bases loaded. There's this big chance and swing and a miss.
Big swing and a miss.
So
he's got all that tech war money to fall back on.
That's right. So it's cool. It's all right, Slugger. You'll get him next time. And unfortunately, because of this film, there was not really a next time. So I know we directed some TV stuff, so don't send us emails about that. Or send us an email about that. I'd love us to get one, you sons of bitch. All right, so let's move on. Matt, shoot us an email. What do you think of Star Trek The Final Frontier? If we had to give this one a grade, I got to go C-, and I'm being generous, I think.
Yeah, I think you're being overly generous because it's your buddy the Shat who directed and wrote this pile of Shat, as the case may be.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a D, and I'm not even. I know we're not even done, and we're not. And we're gonna rank the things, but by far this is the worst of any of the ones I've seen so far.
Yeah, fine. What does God need a starship? Okay.
Excuse me.
You don't know my name, or you don't know who I am? All right, so let's segue into what are the odds. Let's hear a little clip here, Matt, and we're gonna get into what are the odds.
What do you want me to do? You just want me to hit you?
Come on, do me this one favor.
Why?
Why? I don't know why. I don't know. Never been in a fight. You?
No, but that's a good thing.
No, it is not. How much can you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight. I don't want to die without any scars. So come on, hit me before I lose my nerve.
Oh, God, this is crazy.
So go crazy. Let her rip.
Hey, I don't know about this.
I don't either, but who gives a shit? No one's watching. What do you care?
Wait, this is crazy. You want me to hit you?
That's right.
What, like in the face?
Surprise me.
This is so fucking stupid.
Motherfucker! You hit me in the ear!
Well, Jesus, I'm sorry.
Ow! Christ! By the ear, man!
Ah, I fucked it up.
No, that was perfect. Oh! Ah.
All right, Matt, I don't know if you got a chance to see it. The Red Band trailer for Bad Santa 2 is out. Have you seen it?
Oh, really? I have not seen it. I did not know it was out.
Check that out. Listen, I think here at the First Run Camp, we are big fans of Bad Santa. It is a tradition of me. There's a few things I watch every Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life, which is my favorite holiday film of all time. And then I'll watch one of the two Mystery Science Theater Christmas episodes, Santa Claus or Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. And then finally, at one point, Bad Santa will be played. So I got to tell you, Matt, watching that trailer, I am cautiously pessimistic. That thing,
really,
I'm nervous that it tries too hard to reproduce the magic of that first film.
Right.
And that thing is a beauty. I hesitate to use the word classic, but it may be a black comedy classic.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous.
As well, you should be.
We'll see.
But you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice.
No. So you have to let me know what your thoughts are. So let me ask you, Matt, what are the odds that Bad Santa 2, I wrote here, is half as funny as the original? But that's not, I don't know if that's fair. What about, let's do it this way. That is a bad question, Chris. You should not have asked it that way. Let's go RT square. All right. So Bad Santa. What are the odds, Matt, that Bad Santa? All right, 78% is the original.
That was the audience score or the critic score?
That's the critic score.
Okay.
So, what are the odds that Bad Santa 2 clears is 70 and is north of 70?
North of 70? I'm gonna say 20%. I haven't seen it, obviously. I haven't seen the trailer yet, so this is an uninformed opinion, but just generally of what I know, especially with comedy sequels, especially when what you're telling me that they're trying really hard to capture that magic of the original, usually doesn't work out very well. So I'm gonna give it 20%.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna go 45%. I'm hoping that's more just hopeful for me. Everybody's back, of course, except for Bernie Mac, unfortunately.
Right.
But even the kid is back. So that's
really
the thing. Yeah. Oh, and of course, John Ritter's not back either. Wow. Is this film cursed?
Maybe it is.
John Ritter and Bernie Mac have both passed on. And I don't have to think about this because Billy Bob Thornton keeps making movies too. This thing may be cursed. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go 45%. Check it out though, and get back to me. Let me think of it. Let me know what you think of it. We'll see.
All right, we'll do.
What do you got?
All right, so big release for your beloved DCU, Chris. I'm going there. I know we're gonna talk about it next week, but Suicide Squad has got a 26% fresh rating from critics. Now, audiences have seemed to have been much more generous with 71, although a lot of people that I know who have seen it have not liked it. Although, again, we haven't seen it yet, or at least we haven't seen it to discuss for this. So my question is, what are the odds that Justice League and or Wonder Woman are going to get the DCU back on track? Because, Chris, this is stumbling. This is stumbling pretty hard with what's come out the last 3 films that have, and it's getting dangerously close to face planting instead of sticking that ollie off that really long rail that they're trying to do.
I've seen Suicide Squad, and I have a lot to say, but you're going to have to wait a week. Yes. The problem is, I don't know now. Wonder Woman has a pretty cool trailer, but so did Superman Returns, so did Man of Steel, so did Batman vs. Superman. So I'm feeling burned. The Suicide Squad did really well at the box office. I don't know if you saw it, Matt. We did our first Instagram video, and I did a call it, and what the box office drop for Suicide Squad is going to be next week because BVS dropped off a cliff, and I'm curious what's because you have Sausage Party and Pete's Dragon coming out next week, which I think are going to might be pretty big. Anyway, so what are the odds that Wonder Woman and Justice League save the franchise or get us correct course, if you will?
Yeah, it stabilizes the shipping because this thing it's wobbly.
The problem is the woman who directed Wonder Woman has only done one other film, and that was Monster. And that was quite a while ago.
It was quite a while ago.
So, all right, I'm stalling here because I don't know what my answer is. So we'll just say God, I want to believe so badly. Well, I'm gonna go. All right, for Wonder Woman, I'm gonna say 40% chance that it does, and for Justice League, I'm gonna go 65.
Really?
Yeah.
Just refresh my memory. Is Snyder directing Justice League?
He is, but he's not writing it at all.
Okay.
Was it Chris Terry or Chris something, the guy who did Argo with Ben Affleck, and Jeff Johns is heavily involved as well. So, and I got to tell you, just the strength of that first trailer alone, I'm going to go 65% that Justice League rights the ship. The fact that they've decided not to make 2 films, it's just going to be a standalone film now with further development later on for Apocalypse, I guess, instead of it being a 2-parter. So, yeah, and no David Goyer. So we'll see. And I'll bet you right now, Matt, I'd say there's a 75% chance that Snyder does not do Justice League 2.
Okay.
That he becomes a producer or consultant. Okay. You heard it here first. What about you?
Geez. So, I mean, I haven't seen Suicide Squad yet, but I'm very, like, honestly, if I wasn't doing the show, I would not go see it. And I would think that would be true of...
Really?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, just the trailers and the hype, I was not excited to see this. It just does not look like it's ever going to be a very good film.
But it's got Jim Courtney.
Yeah, I know he is one of our favorites. I understand that. But I mean, there's only so much support I can give Jay compared to what's going on in the rest of what he's working with. Yeah, I mean, I think I made some comment to you, Chris, while we were discussing this offline is, I'm very happy I get to contribute to the totals of this film because I'm not excited about it at all. But yeah, I mean, Wonder Woman looks like it's going to be pretty competent. Justice League, I'm cautiously optimistic because I enjoyed what I saw.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say there's probably. I'm going to say there's a 50% chance that Wonder Woman stabilizes the ship at least a little bit, and that a 60% chance that Justice League rights the ship. But I'm telling you, if Justice League doesn't do well, I think that's going to sink DCU. Like, I think it's all going to be wiped off the table. I don't know if the guys at Warner Brothers, even if these make a ton of money, if these things keep getting just ripped apart by fans and critics and, just makes their rivals and Marvel just look that much better, I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Which I know kills you, Christian. I can tell. It kind of hurts you in the soul because I'm right. I'm right.
Yeah.
But it hurts you a little bit deep down inside.
Sadly, I think you are. At least I'll have the CW to fall back on.
That's true. Their TV shows are excellent, but yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble, my friend.
All right, Matt. So let me ask you: there's been rumors and discussions between Brad Pitt and David Fincher.
No, you son of a bitch! That was my second question.
All right. Well, then you ask it since you only have 2, right?
Yeah, I only got a couple.
All right. So I got another one then for you.
Okay.
All right. So Matt, Ghostbusters is tanked. Lost what, $60-70 million?
Yeah.
So the idea, the possibilities of a sequel are really, really in doubt right now. So give me the odds, Matt. What are the odds we get a Ghostbusters sequel?
I'm gonna say 10% because I think I saw an article saying that they're now talking that the next Ghostbusters is just going to be an animated film. I don't think that they're even talking about going with this other version that they've booted up. And I don't even know if they're still talking about what was the Channing Tatum was talking about doing a kind of a side project one, like kind of like a 21 Jump Street version of Ghostbusters. I don't think that's going to happen either. So yeah, I'm very skeptical. I'd be very surprised if it gets a sequel. I'm going to say it's a 10% chance.
Yeah, I think they may just put this one in a trunk and put it away and maybe start again in another 5 years with a new group. I don't know. I don't know. So
they should just leave it alone or just make up straight up sequels. I don't understand why they're trying to do like this remake shared universe thing.
Yeah, I don't know. So would you say 10%?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go 9%. Good using the Price is Right scoring because I don't want to go over.
Gotcha.
So I'll go 9% chance that there will be a Ghostbusters sequel, just because maybe the thing will blow up with DVD and Blu-ray rentals and buys and digital downloads, and maybe it'll become a cult film and everybody's wrong. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see.
But that would mean that we're wrong, Chris, and that's impossible. So
fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
So why don't you ask me about David Fincher?
Okay. So there was a lackluster film called Bounre Legacy that came out. Did a lot of money. We watched it. We were not impressed by it. The novel I read, I did like it. But obviously it made enough money to where they are trying to make a sequel. And I guess they've had a couple directors they've fallen through. And now Brad Pitt is using his relationship and clout with one of our favorite directors, David Fincher. And I guess he is receptive to he's starting to come around to the idea of directing a World War Z 2, which I think would be something that I would just have to see, because I haven't seen David Fincher do like a big budget horror movie, I guess, since Alien 3, which wasn't great, but I'd be really interested to see what he could do. So what are the odds, Chris? What are the odds that David Fincher actually directs this film if it ends up getting made?
Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't. I don't know why you'd want to leave that money on the table. That's I just mean as a studio, you're going to want to make this film, because the first one was actually one of those things where it wasn't as big a success as people think it was, because it cost so much to make. They had to reshoot the entire ending and the advertising budget, that it wasn't a huge. It looked like it did really well, but in fact, it really didn't. It's. I don't know. I think the odds of it happening are, I think about 60% right now. The problem is Fincher's notorious, I think, for dropping out of stuff too. He gets a bug for an idea and then he never does it. He was supposed to do that Torso film of the Bendis graphic novel, which I would have loved to have seen, and that never arrived. So, but I'll still go. I don't know. What did I say? 60%.
Yeah.
So I'll go 60 on that, just because that's me more just trying to will it into being.
Wishful thinking on your part, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I love David Fincher. He's one of my favorite directors. Some of his later films, I mean, have been kind of hit or miss. But he's always got an interesting visual style and the way he tells the stories. So, but I just can't see him doing a big budget sequel like this. I mean, and for go with it, or if he just kind of like pretends the first one never happened and here's Brad Pitt again and let's just start over with how this is all going to go. So yeah, I don't know. As much as I would love to see it, I'm really curious to see what he can bring to it. I'm going to say it's a 40% chance at best.
You've convinced me. I'm dropping mine down to 35.
You son of a bitch.
No,
Watch Love Price is Right, I told you.
But you're right, though. You make an excellent point, is that his past and what he doesn't tend to make you think that he would do something like that.
Right.
Instead, you'd get some crap director like Antoine Fuqua, who was going to do a Scarface reboot.
after he's done The Magnificent Seven. Have you seen the trailer for The Magnificent Seven?
Yes, and it looks dreadful.
It does look dreadful. It's terrible.
I don't know what all right. I don't know why this guy keeps getting work. All right, fine. Matt, I got one more for you then. All right.
All right.
Matt, what are the odds Sausage Party gets a Best Animated Feature Oscar nomination? 87% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, my friend. 87.
I don't think something so naughty can get it. I don't think the Academy will allow that to happen. Although I don't know what are the other animated films that come out. I mean, we've had Pixar, but I don't think we have Inside Out came out this year, right?
No, that was last year.
Was it last year? So we only had The Good Dinosaur?
I'm pretty sure. So you have
Finding Dory. Finding Dory. That's the one.
That's not going to make it a nomination, but Zootopia is probably what's going to win.
Yeah.
Secret Life of Pets, Angry Birds, Kung Fu Panda 3, Moana. That's Pixar, isn't it?
It's Disney. It's not Pixar. Yeah.
All right. Trolls. Yeah, nothing else here is gonna.
Yeah, maybe it will. I mean, You know what? Didn't South Park get nominated at the very least?
I don't know. I know they did for song. I don't know if they did for
song. Yeah, there was no animated category back then, so I'm talking myself into it now. Maybe they'll try and. I was gonna say like 1% chance, but I'm gonna go up to like 25% chance that it actually gets nominated because there's not a whole lot of pickings out there. I don't even know what else is coming out for the end of the year, but yeah, I'm gonna say 25%.
Here's the thing: since the category is relatively new, I can't think of any adult animated fare that's ever been nominated.
Any of the Studio Ghiblis?
I don't know. Plus, there's not a lot of adult animated films anyway.
It's true.
I don't know. I don't even know how to answer this one. I part of me thinks, listen, knowing the Academy, I'm going to say no. I'm going to go 5%.
Right.
Because I just don't think they have the balls to do it. And the way they have it set up, it's not going to happen. In the perfect world, possibly.
Yeah.
But not the way the Academy is currently construed. I don't think it happens.
It's too bad if it's actually good. We'll see. I mean, I was not looking forward to this film at all, but now I'm cautiously optimistic that I'm going to go check this out, and I think it's going to actually hopefully be funny. We'll see.
Supposedly there's an orgy scene.
Really? Hot dogs and donuts, huh?
I don't know what it is. But there is.
All right.
We'll see. All right. So that's What Are the Odds, Matt? Shoot us an email, feedback at the first round. You give us your odds and see if you do the Price is Right game. So you can go a little lower than me. Let us know. So next week, Matt, it's going to be Suicide Squad and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Which I'm very excited to revisit. What else? We don't know what the final segment's going to be yet. That's always kind of a last minute thing because we like to prepare around here. It's the intern's fault, really. All right, Matt. I told you last week I was going to start doing movie trivia, and I didn't do it, but I'm ready for you. But I'm going to let you choose, Matt. Do you want to do a comedy/cartoon, action adventure, drama musical, or horror sci-fi?
Horror sci-fi. Let's stick to my wheelhouse first.
All right, this is a pretty easy one too.
Okay.
What 80s horror movie features the line, "They're here"? I think that's how she says it. They're here.
Poltergeist?
You're guessing? They're here? Yes. They're here. you entered Poltergeist with a question mark?
Well, I think it's the accent you're trying to put on. I'm like, is he trying to do the little weird psychic lady? Why do you just go with the little girl?
I was trying to throw you off. I was trying to throw you off a little bit. I'll confess to that. All right, congratulations. So next week you have to choose from comedy, cartoon, action adventure, or drama musical. All right.
When we get the drama musical, if that's a musical, I'm definitely getting it wrong. That's for sure.
Okay. Well, this first one is not a musical, so you'll be all right. Maybe.
Okay.
It involves a Gus Van Sant film. I'll give you a clue.
Interesting.
All right. That's the big show for this week. Shoot us an email, feedback to the first round. You can check us out on YouTube. We're going to watch the live streaming of the show. We're also on Twitter. Instagram, as I said, we posted our first little video there. Facebook, just do a search for the first run. We'll come right up. That's the big show for this week, Matt. Let's take an extended break. Enjoy your vacation. Rest up because you have to talk about Suicide Squad next week.
Oh, I do. Got to watch it first. That's the tough part. I think.
At least you're going in with an open mind, which is what I am. We'll see everybody in a week.
Bye, guys.
Fuck with my beard.
It's not real.
No shit. Well, it was real, but you see, I got sick and all the hair fell out, so I had to wear this fucking thing.
How'd you get sick?
I loved a woman who wasn't clean.
Mrs. Santa?
No, it was her sister.